one group designed, ordered, and donated 6,600 pairs of eclipse glasses. But the one that I thought was fun was from Canada. First of all, a little known fact, 98% of all corrugated cardboard in Canada is recycled. Pretty darn good. So, atop homemade toboggans crafted out of cardboard and tape, about 80 thrill seekers sledded down a hill during a timed contest of the Rotaract Club of North Simcoe, Ontario in February. The challenge is held in conjunction, I'm going to have trouble with this name, in conjunction with the town of Penetanguishine's Winterama Carnival, a 76-year-old tradition, and is open to competitors at no cost, attracting as many as 160 each year. We've seen so many amazing sleds, and each year they get even better, Club President Alana Dirtnell says. The club awards prizes for categories such as most creative, most team spirit, and fastest sled, with the speediest clocked at about 28 kilometers an hour, which is 17 miles per hour. Pretty fast on a cardboard sled. By the radar of auxiliary officers of the Ontario Provincial Police. Club members handled tasks such as registration, social media promotion, sponsorship, acquisition, and assistance with building a Rotaract cardboard toboggan used to promote the event in a parade held the previous day.
All right, so now we're gonna hear from Mo Dennis. He's gonna talk to us a bit about how the Boy Scouts and us can collaborate. So, I'm excited to hear about Boy Scouts.
Hi, good morning. So just a little bit about me. I retired from the Army in 2017. I worked for Homeland Security here, and I've been doing scouting in the town of Williston since, well, my kids were 5. So, and I've got one that's about to turn 18. I just had one Eagle out in the town of Williston. He's 19. So I've been doing scouting for more than 10 years and been in a leadership role for about 8 of those. Because it didn't take much to get me involved as soon as one leader said, hey, I'm done, and we think you're the next guy. Right? So we are super active in the town of Williston. You see Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts all over. We've got about 60 Cub Scouts, and which is a great theater program for the troop. I have one foot in the Cub Scout program because that's what keeps me going. We've had probably 30 boys in this troop now since I took over about 4 years ago. And it's always been pretty strong. Even through COVID, we did a really good job of staying strong. And I'm always looking for new work. I'm trying to diversify as much as I can with the boys. We get involved with the Masons. We get involved with any church organization. And we try to do as much as we can to support any local group. We're doing the craft fair this weekend. We help the folks, the crafters, set up and tear down at the end of the day. We've done a lot of work on public land in the town of Williston, and I'm always looking for more because we need conservation hours as much as we need community service hours. And it all feeds the boys' rank advancement. And it gets us out there. It gets the kids to interact with everybody in the town. It's a huge benefit to them, and it's a huge benefit to everybody here. So last year we did a huge Veterans Day event over at Williston Place with the elderly there. Awesome event. We just had the kids talking to them. You know, we pulled veterans in from Williston Place and just gave the kids a list of questions because kids are not really well socialized. They're too busy looking at their phones. So we put them in front of people and just said, hey, talk to them. And they loved it. And then people from all around inside of Williston Place come to talk to them. So I am looking for projects. I am looking for any kind of work for them to do. 30 boys is hard to keep busy. But when I take them camping and I only get like 15, that's great because I can't do it all. And I'm a busy dude. So the more you want them to be involved, all I got to do is put on the calendar, put a sign up on there, and boys will show up. Parents will drop their boys off. And I don't drop boys off unless I know that they're going to be good, right? You're gonna be responsible, and they are. So they're great. They'll do any level of work that we need. We're splitting wood at a friend's house on Sunday. We're raking leaves at Our Lady of the Whole Rosary down the street. So what I don't understand is, this is the Williston and Richmond Rotary Club? Oh, man, that's perfect. So the other part that you don't know about Williston's troop is we absorbed Heinsberg. Heinsberg troop kind of didn't have a good feeder program. Cub Scout program died. So their troop was dying. So I took all of them. So I have a big footprint inside of Heinsberg too. And I'm growing bigger than I can handle, right? So I need more help. I need stuff for them to do. That's what I'm here for. Hey, Eagle projects, if we want to talk about Eagle projects, I got boys. So I have big groups, clumps of boys graduating through the program. And I've got 5 seniors right now. I've got a small group of juniors and sophomores, and then a huge group of freshmen. They're all looking for projects. So if you have a great idea, I'll just put it on the store website, which is just our site, and kids will bite on it, okay? So if there's something that needs to be improved in the town, or you think something would benefit the town, the kids will get behind it. Okay? Questions? Too much, 5 minutes?
Yeah, I do have one question. Could you just mention just a couple of the recent Eagle Scout projects, just so we can kind of get our ideas going?
So if you drop your ballot off to vote early, right there is a flag deposit box. Thomas Mathon, who's a senior this year with me, showing up every week, made that box, right? And did all the work for that. If you see us working in the cemeteries, we're doing that. We're picking up the flags and putting the flags down for all the veterans. We did, actually, the little pavilion you see out there by the solar farm, had an Eagle Scout do that. The ones out towards Five Tree Hill, we did that. You know, all those big poster boards that you see, our boys are doing those things. And they should have a stamp on them. They've got a little plaque that says, hey, Eagle Scout project by so-and-so, right? Yeah, all over the place. I'm trying to do more.
It's interesting that you mentioned Thomas. We actually sent him to RILA a couple of years ago, the Rotary's Leadership Academy, and then he came and presented about it here. So we know him a little bit. So we need ideas of ways we can collaborate or things Boy Scouts can do, and can we send those to Armand? And you're our contact here. Does that work? Okay.
You can put them on your calendar, and I'll put it on my calendar, and I'll have kids sign up for it to do it. Yep. So any conservation work, any community service work.
Okay.
Yep.
Wonderful. So good to have a good partnership. All right. Is someone introducing our speakers? I don't know if you had a bio, but yes. So Charlie, welcome. Introduce our speakers today.
Charlie doesn't need a bio.
You know, I've been speaker chair for a month, and this is the first time that I've actually had an opportunity to introduce the speakers through things that went on that you all were able to benefit from. But today is a really special day. It was really fortunate for me that I had kept this date open when the posting came that Armand, the former air traffic controller and businessman with storage spaces all over town, and an occupational therapist, had finished a long walk. And it's not, I know that 2 weeks ago I had somebody here to talk about walking the long trail. So it's not that my interest is in walking, but I'm interested in interesting walking. And I had 2 friends, Ken Stone and Tony Lamb, who spent a long time on El Camino de Santiago. And to have 2 more really good friends, members of our club, take on that same hike was for me just a wonderful opportunity. So Armand and Lesley, it is all yours.
Thank you. First of all, I want to thank Mo for being here and to tell everyone that the Scouts will be at our Veterans Day observance on the 11th. They will be presenting the colors. And I've been wanting to do this for years, and I think it's going to be a great addition. So thank you, Mo. Okay.
So, I actually, does anybody remember the, copier or the printer paper that had little holes on the side? And I really need some of that, because I wanted to get up there and go, just 5 minutes. But anyway, I won't do that. So I have several timekeepers. I'd like to thank Charlie for inviting us to speak. I'd also like to thank you for your willingness to give us double the time most speakers get. Because you know me. How many people, oh, sorry, I want to thank Tony. Tony, you well, I'll tell you, were at the time our biggest supporter, our biggest cheerleader. You graciously gave us so much time. Thank you. Because that made a huge difference in our trip. How many people in the room know about, not just have heard, but know about the El Camino de Santiago? Okay, so bear with me for just a couple of minutes. For those of you who don't know, the El Camino de Santiago is a network of trails, roads, paths throughout Europe that lead people from their homes to Santiago de Compostela in Santiago, Spain. This has been a pilgrimage for hundreds, thousands of years. Mainly people started out going to Bethlehem and to Rome, but Armand will talk about why there was a shift to Santiago. So now the Camino de Santiago is approximately 800 kilometers, about 500 miles. We started the French route in Saint Jean Pied de Port, France, and then walked to Santiago, Spain. The purpose for most pilgrims doing this initially was that by sacrificing themselves throughout this walk, which took us 35 days, but took them a lot longer, was to absolve themselves of their sins before they died. That really wasn't our purpose. No. So perhaps on the next one. So the trail is often very well marked with yellow arrows and scallop shells. Scallop shells are the symbol of the Camino, and that is because when people walked the Camino initially, they walked then to the coast from Santiago to Finisterre, which means the end of the world, and they would collect scallop shells to prove that they had walked the entire way. So that's what the Camino de Santiago is. So much more. We don't have time to tell you everything that it is, but suffice it to say, we'll start with that, and then Armand is going to give a bit of information about Santiago.
Thank you. Okay, the El Camino Santiago, or the Way of St. James. St. James was one of Jesus's 12 disciples, and according to legend, he went to northwestern Iberia in AD 40 to preach and evangelize Christianity. Upon his return to the Holy Land in AD 44, he was martyred. Legend recounts that after his death, two of his most devoted disciples transferred his body from Palestine to Galatia aboard a mystical stone boat to a hilltop where he was buried and later became the Santiago de Compostela, a huge cathedral, a very beautiful cathedral. His tomb was forgotten until AD 814, when a hermit named Paleo followed a trail of stars that led him to the luminous tomb of St. James. The journey began what was to become the Christian pilgrimage to Santiago de Compostela. A pilgrimage like the Camino allows one to reflect, recharge, and grow. Each pilgrim who walks the Camino has his or her own unique reasons for doing so. Is any questions about? No, okay, we're good with St. James.
Great with St. James. Okay, Armand's going to pass out a couple of things. The first is a map of the many routes to Santiago. And we have lined our route so that you can see that. And then the other thing, can we start that at this end?
Those are the segments.
Yeah,
The
I was
daily
gonna just start it at this end.
Oh.
Just
Okay.
so that you all don't feel left out. So what I just gave to Elizabeth are the segments of the Camino. Those are only suggestions, of course. You can do more, you can do less. So why did we decide to do the Camino de Santiago? Why did we decide to walk a minimum of 500 miles? Because we love to walk, of course, but we watched the movie The Way in 2019. This has Martin Sheen and his son Emilio Estevez, who created this movie, made a boom for Santiago from Americans after that. And it's just a really lovely, lovely story. And they, as a family, have watched the Camino. So we watched that movie in 2019. And as soon as it was over, we just kind of went, oh yeah, we want to do this. So we're thinking, okay, we've got a year, we can start planning. Well, a year from 2019 was so put the plans on pause. Okay, well, that's fine. So we had a sailing trip planned for 2022, just after we were all sort of released. And Armand said, hey, we're going to kind of be in the neighborhood of Spain. How about if we take an extra week and we'll just try the Camino? Try out the Camino? And really hadn't heard of that. But why not? Let's just give it a week and see if A, we can physically do this, and B, if we like it. And then we'll continue on. So we went, we decided on the French route, of course, because of that movie. It's also very popular and well supported. So we started out and we walked over the foothills, mind you, but we walked over the Pyrenees the very first day. And it was like the most amazing experience I've ever had. It was just incredibly beautiful. I will mention that because of Tony, we had some insight ahead of time and we did not carry our packs. I'm happy to say. We supported the local economy and let them transport it. So we had 6 days on the trail that first week. We walked 127.6 miles. Just loved it. It was just wonderful. The weather was perfect. We met a lot of cool people. So we said, you know what? Let's come back next year and we'll do the rest of it. Insert bilateral knee replacement for Armand in 2023, October of 2023. So we put a pause on that. And in early, maybe late spring of 2024, we said, it's time. So we made our plans and we left to walk the Camino all the way, which was absolutely amazing. And we walked from Los Arcos. We had walked from Saint Jean to Los Arcos. And then we started again in Los Arcos and walked to Santiago, which when you walk in through the archway and you see the cathedral in front of you, it's amazing. I'm not even sure that there really are words for it. It's, thank God I'm done. What can I eat and drink now? And pretty cool to do it with your best friend. So that was really lovely.
Yes, it was.
It was really lovely. So let me just see. I think it's time to see the video. We're going to just give you a quick video of the Camino so you can kind of see what it's actually like. Pardon me if I dance to the music.
With my head up to the bright sky, When the heavens poured, I kept my stride, 'cause I could lean on beautiful scenes of the Camino. Travel past the simple kind of life. Strangers turn to friends along the highway, calling peaceful, far from the people. And I gave a bit of my heart to the wind, so I can keep on reliving years on. Every step was worth the pain of it, just like a river going the distance. 'Cause I am the sea left in the tree, the Camino. So the sights of danger all the time, the wonders all the dreams through my eyes, all the cities cathedral. Sunrise held me up, step on my lane. Circle heavy on our side, keeping peaceful. All of our feet went on the Camino. And all the food and wine was fine and led us to the field of the stars. Ooh, mountains wide and flowers bright, and pictures that were set in my heart. Ooh, I let the arrows lead the way to Santiago. Gave a bit of my heart to the wind, so I can keep on reliving hilltops. And every step was worth the pain of it, 'cause just like a river, I'm going the distance. 'Cause I am a seeker, left in the dream of the Camino.
Yeah. Now that I lied, I gotta walk the Camino again.
Elizabeth, how are we doing on time? 1 minute? Okay, so I think what we'll do, because you can ask us questions, we have a lot of things we could say, but I think you'll ask us. Sorry about that. We're gonna skip to some pictures and then you can all ask us questions. We won't go through all of this. So let me just say that we did walk a total of total of 697.5 miles on this trip, not including the 126. That includes all the wandering that we did in town, every time. And we averaged about 15 to 23 miles a day and walked for 7 to 9 hours a day. So if you would go ahead and start the slideshow. So that first picture is after we had received our credentials and we're in Saint Jean Pied de Port. Just getting ready to leave. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ben. Sorry. This is going up over the Pyrenees as the fog was rolling in. That's another map of where we walked. This is in Pamplona, just gathering with friends we met along the trail, which was one of the really beautiful things about walking the Camino. This is the height of Pardon, and that sculpture is representing the pilgrims from the beginning until current. And it's very windy up there, so the belief is that when you're up there, all of your worries are just blown away. Because you can breathe, because you've made it up the hill. These were some students we met on our first trip. They were just adorable, and they introduced us to figs and almonds along the trail. They were just so excited. The young man next to Armand said, "Oh, I can smell figs. I can smell them a mile away." And so he scurried off and picked up figs and brought them back and prepared them for us. And then all of a sudden, that young girl on the left said, "Wait a minute, I see almonds." So she scurried off and she brought almonds back for us. It was just awesome. The Camino really does provide. So those were our snacks for the day. Go ahead, Ben. And this is the young man preparing the almonds for us. Probably thought we were too old to crack the shells. This is at a winery. They have a spigot for wine and a spigot for water. So you can stop and help yourself. That was about 9:40 in the morning. I had the wine spigot. And this is a family that we met along the way, and they live in Spain, and they take various vacations and walk sections of the trail with their kids. And that we saw that fairly often, actually. Go ahead, Ben. This is the Rotary flag. Yay, this is just a pop-up memorial, things hanging off the branches of a tree. So we decided the Rotary banner should be there as well. Go ahead. Look how clean the streets are. They're always like that in Spain. That was our experience. Lots of trash cans around, lots of recycling, just beautiful. Go ahead, Ben. Oh, sorry. That's just a pop-up vendor on the side of the trail, making a living for herself selling Camino articles. Very cool. Go ahead. This is a chozo. Chozo is a structure built by farm workers as they work through the fields, and it's a place for them to get in out of the elements. Okay, we're just going to whip through the pictures. We're not going to talk about them. See, I am a rule follower. And that's one of the churches that we were in. Just absolutely beautiful. One of the communal dinners that we had, which were just an awful lot of fun. Paella that was made for us that night. Part of the trail. You want to talk about these? These are niches in the wall outside of San Anton. And in the past, when this is just, they're in ruins now, but at one time when the gates were closed at night and pilgrims were still coming by, they had a covered porch for pilgrims to be, out of the weather in or on. And then they had these niches in the wall where the monks would leave food and water for the pilgrims. This woman we met at one of the cafes, she and her husband, I'll try to shorten this. Anyway, she told me that she and her husband couldn't have children. They were working in corporate world. They couldn't have children. They walked the Camino. And when you start at the pilgrim's office in St. Jean, you're asked for a reason why you're walking. And so her husband said, "I want my wife to be able to have a child." So they walked the Camino together. And a year to the day later, she gave birth to their son. And so she told me that story, and of course I cried. A water fountain, so no problem filling our water bottle. I love this quote: "Time is the only currency we spend without ever knowing the balance." Something to think about.
We'll just let those go, and if anybody has any questions.
What kind of places did you sleep in?
Thank you, Charlie. It was almost as if I'd asked you to say that. We stayed in the albergues, which are, it's a step up from sleeping on the ground outside. So it's rooms filled with bunk beds, often metal ones that are not easy on your feet to climb. But they're inexpensive. It's really authentic. You're staying with all these other pilgrims. Sometimes the room is for 6 or 8 people. Sometimes
It's a dorm, 30, 40 people, yeah.
100 people. So that's where we stay.
Did you get bed bugs?
Nope. Never
They
saw
have
it.
that well under control.
Ken did.
Did you get lost at any point?
Oh, yeah.
But we call them detours.
Actually, I'm sorry, can people on the screen, can you at home hear when people are asking a question? Okay. Thanks, Judy. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, you must have encountered a little variance in weather. Did you have any rain during the course of the?
We had an hour shower at the beginning, and a full day towards the end. That was the only rain we had. And we were prepared. We put our ponchos on and put one foot in front of the other.
What was the average temperature just in general when you were getting along?
When we started, it was in the low 80s and it cooled off from there. It was in the 70s to 60s, most of the time. A little cool in the morning, but it would warm up quickly. So it was great weather.
Did you use any walking sticks?
No, we didn't.
A lot of people do. We chose not to.
Well, part of the reason was you can't take them on the plane.
And we don't check bags, so we didn't take walking sticks. So I don't know what it's like to have them, but we didn't feel like we needed them, but maybe if we had them, we would feel different.
What was your favorite meal?
The one at the end.
That's a really good question.
They did a lot of grain lentils, a lot of, they grow a lot of grain in that area, so a lot of the soups are beans. That's been,
The first lentil soup,
yeah,
that was amazing.
All right.
Okay.
Did you guys train?
What?
Did you train? What did you do to train? I mean,
Yeah.
if I told the kids that they were gonna walk 500 miles, they'd
Yeah.
leave.
It's like eating an elephant, one bite at a time.
Yeah.
You just walk.
But
I
did
mean,
you practice? Did
Oh,
you
yeah.
practice all the way?
But you can't practice for this.
Yeah.
I mean, you're walking on terrain that we don't have
Yeah.
here. And I don't usually walk 7 to 9 hours a day. So it's really just pacing yourself, walking, taking breaks, lots of places to take breaks. We had great picnics on the side of the trail. So that was my favorite meal.
Just one quick question. How'd your knees hold that way?
Great. No problem at all. And there's a full life warranty on it, so.
So the best thing was we finished on the 11-month anniversary of his knee replacement.
Now, I've walked about 100 yards on the Camino in France, so I know that doing it for 500, 600 miles is a real accomplishment. This may be a surprise to you, but thanks for your having given this presentation. There will be a donation in your name to the Williston School Mentoring Program. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, 5, 6, 9.
Everyone hear that? 5, 6, 9. I guess I better check my ticket.
Just lastly, I'm gonna say that our credentials are here, they're laminated. Because we usually leave stuff like that in a box somewhere or in a tube, we laminated them to use them as placemats. Not here, but at home, so I'm just gonna pass these around if everybody wants to see them. They're written in Spanish, so.
All right, thank you so much. We may need a part 2. I definitely want to see more pictures. All right, so next we have our inspiration. And the inspiration today actually comes from Nancy Stones, who is our guest here. And I'm gonna read it, but as I think everyone knows, her husband Ken passed away recently, and he was a longtime sub member here and also did some walking on the Camino. I'm not sure how much, but he was out there. So since his passing, she's written a couple of poems. And these poems are a different format from things she's usually written that we've heard before, because she came and told us about her book and read some poems from that. So these have a very long title and then a very short verse. So there are two of them. So first, death certified, remains delivered, obit posted. I miss his voice. And the second, the day golden leaves fell from the sky. His spirit rose up. So thank you, Nancy, for letting me share that. And after that, we're going to take care of some club business. So Rick, would you like to start?
Sure. So today is Halloween. That means Christmas is up. And so one of the big things our club does, in addition to the senior luncheon that we have, is the Christmas toy barrels that are placed around the community. So I need volunteers to pick a barrel and empty it when it needs to be emptied. And if you need directions on how to do all that, I can certainly fill you in. That many of you have done this before. I've volunteered to take care of the fire department barrel, which is probably one of the busiest barrels. That has to be emptied almost daily, but most other barrels, it's far less than that. So, and there's a couple barrels that are gonna have to be taken off this list, so I'm gonna look for ideas on other new barrels we might add, one or two. But I'm gonna pass this around. I'll quickly go down the list of barrels that we have, but if you could sign up to do a barrel, that would be great. Oh, thank you. It begins on a week, November 14th. That's when we're going to distribute the barrels. So it'll be from there until December 18th, I think it is. So it's just about a month of time.
So I could share with someone, I'll be back. I could share with someone. I can't do it in November, but I could share and do it in December if anyone wants to share.
All right, I'm going to quickly go down the list of locations. Simply Divine Cafe, Hannaford Supermarket, New England Federal Credit Union, UPS Store, M&T Bank, Williston Fire Department, Williston Central School, Dorothy Alling Memorial Library, Community Bank, and Union Bank. So we need one or two other locations. One of the locations we've done in the past is off, which is the Thomas Chittenden Healthcare. For some reason, they didn't want to do it. I guess maybe they didn't get any choice. And the other was New England Air.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess they're doing something different. Yeah.
Do you want to try Healthy Living since it's right beside the toy store? Maybe?
Healthy Living is one option.
Or the toy store.
Yeah, they'll do it. They're little.
Oh, yeah. The Healthy Living has a big players.
Yeah.
So,
Still doing the rehab gym?
no, that's not on this.
Kismet.
No, actually, that didn't work out so well. We've done that in the past, and that was not successful. So we have one suggestion, the toy store / healthy living. Does someone want to check that out? Because we need to check with the property owner.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
All right, thank you.
I'm gonna say either that or LOB, like something in that
Yeah,
area.
if you could check that out and let me know, that would be great. Any other locations? Okay, I know Richmond Dental is going to be checked out by Howard, so we've used that in the past. All right, well, if you think of anything between now and the 14th of November, let me know.
Thanks. If you do have other ideas in the emails I send out before and after the meeting, all of our upcoming events are listed and the contact person is listed with the email address, so you can email Rick those ideas. Or I mean, hopefully you have a phone number too with some. Anyway, they're in touch with Rick. And then Sally.
So I just have two quick things. One is, thank you, Phil, for updating our yearly poster for the senior luncheon. If anybody needs posters, I have a lot of them. You'll notice that it says on here, the music by Williston Central School students is at 11 a.m. That's because they have an event before us and an event after us. So they will be coming and singing at 11. Which is good because all the seniors that show up at 10. And happily Sonia has, said that she would answer the phone for the RSVPs again this year. So thank you to Sonia. And the only other thing I have is for the Veterans Day celebration on November 11th. I'd like a couple volunteers to either bring muffins or donut holes or something to go with our coffee. Anybody? Lisa? And Chris, you're gonna help me with coffee, aren't you?
I'm gonna bring poinsettias to the senior lunch.
Yeah, I know that. I already know that. You're on my list.
Oh,
But I need you to help me on Veterans Day with the table.
all right.
He's running the whole Veterans Day thing, so he should get a free pass on that one.
Okay, all right, I'll work it out. Walter. So Walter and Lisa will bring something to eat. Thank you.
Kelly, when is the senior luncheon? I'm sure it's in the.
December 11th.
Thank you. Here, let me give you a post.
And it is in the email. All of them are in the email. Barb had a quick update on the speech contest. The age for that, this age is 14 to 18. So I'm not exactly sure how we're recruiting kids to be in the speech contest, but if you know of kids, ages 14 to 18.
I think she has contacts with some speech people.
Yeah, I think she had some contacts within the school, but yeah, you may know a few. Yeah,
Was that like in the spring? Was it like February, March-ish
it's
timeframe?
January 16th.
January. Okay.
So on our meeting day, January 16th, we're gonna have the first round of the speech contest here at the meeting. So we'll have however many kids do their speech and we have some judges lined up. And then they go through, till the spring. And I think it's at the final, like the yearly meeting for our district in April, May, where it's the finals and they can win their couple thousand, $5,000, whatever it is. I'm not sure. But yeah, something like that. I got to judge it a couple of years ago and it was really fun. All right, Chris.
Thank you. I would really encourage you to read Elizabeth's emails. They're packed full of really good information. And one of the things she's been including every week is a reminder to all of you about fundraising. I want to first thank, there are about a handful of people who have given me names and addresses. Some of them have notes on the letters that they picked up. We can do this a couple ways, but first let me remind you that November, thank you, Vince, for researching this, is gift giving month. So we're pretty close to November. December is most businesses and organizations, particularly nonprofits, they focus on November to try to solicit donations, end of the year donations. So we've got 2 months to do our work in, our big work. And what we're trying to do is to increase the number of new donors. The sustaining donors, people have given year after year. We'll continue to receive visits from Sherry, who's really cultivated that group, or we'll be sending them letters. But I really would like it. 5 would be ideal, even 1 or 2 names and addresses and contact information. Just go back to Elizabeth's email. If you could get that to me in her weekly update, she does include my email address if you can't find it. I did bring some envelopes, some letters, and some of the by the numbers media pieces today with me if you want to pick up a couple. So you can do this a couple ways. And Jen has really been on top of this, as has Marty Winter. You basically pick your businesses, double check with the, what are we calling it? The charity donors list?
Donation
the
list.
charity donors list that we can access how, Vince? How can we get to this?
Multiple ways.
Multiple ways.
So it is on the website. And so in members, member area, you go to documents and you can get there. Or hopefully everybody has saved the email that I said, save this email and put it in a folder.
Yes, you did that about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So go back and scroll through all of your listening.
There is one more thing. Once you actually open that up, what I just realized is you can actually make it on a bookmarker on Google. So
So
That's,
please
that's maybe the
check
easiest.
that out. Doing that before you send me or even go out to hand deliver these or put envelopes in mail, is that we're not duplicating. What we don't want are these organizations to receive multiple letters. So I really would encourage you to try to get on top of this in the next 2 months. Organizations are making decisions. And again, if you'd like to go door to door like Sherry likes to do, those are great ways. Marty actually, in one of his visits, discovered that somebody was interested in Rotary and might want to join. So there are lots of benefits from that personal contact that Sherry talks about so much. But if that's not your thing, we have the tools for you. We have stamped envelopes, letters. You can write a little note on that. Sally did that. She just jotted, and Jen did as well, just put some notes on it. So they knew that it was not just coming from me, but it was coming from others. So please, 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 we have 2 months to try to get this. And Andy's already been sending out thank you notes. So I appreciate it.
Thank you for all the hard work you do on this. And I think the key thing with it too is also having a Rotary story that you can tell people. I've told people my Rotary story and they just gave me money. I didn't even ask for it. So go talk to people. We do good things. All right, we have a lot of people and a little bit of time. So if you can be efficient with your time now. Sherry, did you have one more thing?
The craft fair on Saturday, anyone that wants to come see me at my booth, I'm donating 100% of my proceeds to our club. Yay, Sherry, that's so generous. So I would like to make it Rotary-ish, you know, like, so if you come visit, you maybe have your hat on your, and I think maybe more people might buy the bowls if they know the donations are going to Rotary. And so, yeah, I look forward to seeing everyone for that.
That's great, very generous. Okay, so Blackbeard fell into the Red Sea and he was marooned.